Dear colleagues, we continue our working day, and the topic of the next press briefing is a network of internationally educated Ukrainian Professional Government initiative announces the establishment of the NGO and presents its new mission and goals. Our speakers will be Vasyl Myroshnychenko, head of the PGI and LCE Alumni Association, Alina Sviderska, board member, head of the Cambridge Graduate Union, and dear colleagues, good morning. Thank you very much that this winter morning you came to our press briefing. We would like to tell you who we are and why we are rethinking our goal and mission and what results we would like to achieve. We were established during Euromaidan revolution at Maidan site, and we strive to make reforms in Ukraine and to bring changes, and we united into the Professional Government Initiative, PGI. So we have been working at the professional volunteers of recruitment field for our civil service, for our government. And there are many associations united in our organization, and we have more than 3,000 members. Our members have relevant skills and education, and we would like to realize our skills at the civil service. Some persons have already become members of the parliament or are hired at the governmental agencies at the national level. In central executive authorities. In 2014, the interest was high in our association, and now the interest declined. So we decided to do something to recover the interest to our initiative. You can see here 4 of us. I'm very glad that I was elected to head the board, which has recently been established. So we have elaborated the mission and vision. We reformatted our activity. The main task is that all this resource and pool of talents we would like to direct into the relevant flow. We do not like to engage in activities. We are result oriented, and we try to form in Ukraine the most efficient government in the world. This is our long-term goal. Maybe this is the goal of all our life, not only these years and this initiative. So how shall we influence the processes so that the state move into the right direction? As an integrator, we have selected the governance index, the World Governance Index, which assess the governmental activities under 4 criteria. Our goal is to move up by at least 5% per year in World Governance Index, we would like to form serious mechanism of influence on the processes which are now taking place. And now I would like to give the floor to Roman Rubchenko, the board member. He's a member of Harvard Club, Ukraine. He has been involved in elaboration of the entire approach which has helped us to elaborate our vision. Thank you for giving me the floor. My name is Roman Rubchenko, and I would like to give you an overview of our new strategy and our values which we are going to use. Vasyl already said that we were providing this stuff for the government and for the parliament. Now we have selected 4 levers to achieve our goals. The first objective is to help the government identify what to do. The second lever is to motivate action, because in our country there are many institutions and civil servants oriented on the process, not on the results, so we would like to motivate them. The third is to provide tools to help civil servants to implement the project. These tools could be either algorithms of work or management techniques, and high quality staff. This activity, recruitment activity, which we used to be involved earlier. And the last is to measure results. Any activity in the corporate world is assessed by results, but in the government machinery, the staff works on the process but not on the results, and we would like to bring the tool, result-oriented tool assessment. It is important to know that we have selected 5 key values which build on each other to ensure we do our job well. Our working language is English. The first is competence. We base our activities on competent, high-quality experts from certain narrow fields, and we form unbiased, objective, fact-based points of view, and then we implement these attitudes. The second is meritocracy. Meritocracy means management focused on ideas but not on nepotism. By objective standards, unbiased assessments, an idea is selected which will be more useful for achieving the result. The third is measurable results. There is no sense to address some point or some issue if you do not achieve the goal. In the fourth is integrity. we are not ready to compromise with our own conscience or to be involved in some activities for which we will be ashamed in future. So this is the filter, integrity is the filter. And the fifth and the last point is public good. If the standards of life in Ukraine are not getting better, then we have not achieved our goal. In January, we started to work on this points. Our delegation was on a tour in Germany where we shared our experience, and we saw how Ukraine is seen. We found how Ukraine is seen in the eyes of German population. Good afternoon. My name is Alina Sviderska, and I am a member of Cambridge Graduates Union. We focus on results but not on our hopes. We see that enthusiasm is not enough now. We would like to form such conditions so that internationally graduated persons come into the civil service thanks to the conditions, favorable conditions for created there. We were told that people do not see our project and other countries do not see what Ukraine is doing. When we came to Germany, we understood that the Germany perceives Ukraine as a corrupt country, and that in Berlin there is a pro-Russian lobby which is very strong. So we explained that there are many young people and there are many projects addressing the changing and the communication area was addressed. So as a professional government, we decided to focus more on communicating Ukrainian reforms and Ukrainian image abroad, so that we can prevent situations when several countries their top leaders gather and discuss the agenda for Ukraine and set the agenda for Ukraine without Ukraine. So the organizations which are a part of our PGI initiative, they should communicate and demonstrate that Ukraine has been moving ahead and that Ukraine has future. And we have been working on the reform of civil service, and we would like to see more results in this field. The law on the civil service was adopted last year, and we understand that this is only 1/3 of what should be done. We are going to engage in these activities, in reforms of civil service. Nobody will work on enthusiasm. The other question is systemic analysis of the cabinet's work and central executive authorities' activities. Just to decrease the number of staff in the ministries, this is not the solution. We should work out a strategy, and I hope that on the next press briefing we will give you an overview of our results achieved during this year. Now I am giving the floor to Katerina.
Thank you, Alina, and I'm Iryna Ozymok, and here I represent College of Europe Alumni Association, and maybe this is the core of Euro integration process in Belgium and Poland. And I would like to add about the main messages that we heard in Berlin, and also concerning that we have good support among civil servants of high level and opinion leaders, but they are they see the trends in Ukraine that there are a lot of people who professionally worked in civil service and they leave now and return to business. And it's not about personalities. Here we speak about the fact that Germans have the opinion that here in Ukraine we can't create proper conditions in order that these people can work in Ukraine and fight with old system. As Volker said, he was the Minister of Defense in Germany. It's very important that the quality changes. They should be the instrument and the weapon against Russia. That's why we should provide that people stay in the country, stay in Ukraine, and also information about Ukraine is ambiguous. And if we are speaking about mass media, they search for some scandals, and in Ukraine we have a lot of them, but they do not highlight the reforms that are conducted in Ukraine. For example, electronic procurements and some reforms in civil service and deregulation, and our foreign partners do not know about this, and our mission is to communicate these positive results and objective messages about Ukraine abroad, using this network of people, our colleagues, those who studied with us and now live in different countries of the world. And our Berlin experience, we saw that we should have a specific strategy in Netherlands. You know that on the 6th of April there will be a referendum on the association agreement with EU. And in the Netherlands, the opinion differs. So this is a European context and internal policy. But what we saw in Berlin is the lack of information on Ukraine. And in the Netherlands, we as a professional initiative, we create a list, a database of people who studied in the Netherlands. And now there are a lot of people who do a lot of wonderful things here in Ukraine. And we would like in this 2-month term to create a number of activities and meetings with the people who are opinion leaders in Ukraine, who gathered and participated in carrying out of reforms in order to inform the Netherlands about reforms in Ukraine. We understand the influence and social levers of the social media, and we work in order to create some materials, video materials, to show them in the Netherlands. And in order to have quality messages for communication, we should create quality reforms, and our initiative is non-governmental organization, but it is involved in the reforms and is ready to work to achieve good results. Thank you. And also to sum up, before questions and answers session, we represent alumni of different programs and universities. We want to popularize the studying abroad. I studied in the USA starting from 15 years, and I took part in many programs that was financed by the government of the USA and Great Britain. And we have some know-how how to get there and study there if you don't have money, proper financing. And this is an important mechanism, and this is our social mission, to tell Ukrainians, especially Ukrainians who are from the regions, who are not from Kiev or large cities, or they came here to Kiev, but they don't have proper financing, but they have and they want to get there to study in France or in Great Britain or in the United States, we know how to do this, and we will do this. We travel to different universities. We have lectures there, and we have a pilot project. We speak with people in villages. You know that people there, they are more marginalized, and young people in the villages, they don't believe in any future. And it is important that people come to them, people like us, and we say to them that we are from different regional centers, and we did this, and we tell them how we did this. And it is important to give them good examples and to inspire the next generation. And I'm sure they will change the country, because today we have many people are disillusioned by lack of fighting of corruption and the lack of reforms, and that war is going on and our countrymen die. And in these conditions, we are optimists, and we believe that active civil society of Ukraine is capable of influence this process, and we can join, and of course we will do this. Thank you, dear colleagues. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for your initiative. I have several questions. You know that IMF has said that she is not happy with the reforms in Ukraine and with the fighting of corruption. And what about your opinion on this, about corruption and fighting corruption? We are not satisfied. People died in Maidan not for this, but we understand that it's very difficult to achieve good results in this sphere, and the situation is difficult. But, of course, our government, we elected, and we provided them a mandate of confidence to rule the country. They should solve this issue in the most effective way. We went to Brussels and in London, and we spoke with investors and the representatives of European Commission, and all our Western partners say the same thing. As Christine Lagarde told, this is a red card, like in football. And it's important because without IMF, it's impossible to stabilize macroeconomic situation, and we cannot support our budget, and that's why this declaration is it's a last Chinese warning, as they say. If she says this, it means that this is serious, and I believe that our government will hear this. And technocratic government we are speaking about, we speak about civil servants that were not politicians. This is Demchyshin, Ivarus, the Minister of Economy, Pivovarsky. These are people, they were not politically engaged, and Natalia Ryska, they became ministers. And if we analyze the ministers, where the politicians are ministers and where technocrats are ministers, so we see that the Ministry of Economy and Finance and Infrastructure, they are proactive and better communicate their actions, and they were more effective. And the system, of course, influences them, and it's very difficult to act for them. But there's, oligarchs who influence the situation, corruption, but they are more effective. Thank you. And can you add something on this?
I can tell you just a few things what we have already told about, to do the work in such a manner that one can see the outcomes and the results. The IMF, Christine Lagarde said that they do not see results of Ukraine. Balcerovich was making unpopular scenes, but he laid the fundamental pillars for the economy, and now Poland is one of the fastest growing countries in Europe. So those unpopular things which should be done in Ukraine, they have not been doing, our government have not been doing them recently. The second part of the answer is that on the positions at the ministries and national agencies, not the best people are serving there. The people I pointed through some games which are hidden from people. Natalia Pavenko. I have a very simple question. You are talking about efficient government, and on the local level, are you planning to engage in activities of educating the staff for the government to educate the specialists for the civil service? And you are talking about the need to increase salaries. Where will you get money? Will it be some funds or sources? I would like to comment educating a small bureaucrat. The representative of our organization, Dmitro Vlasov, he is heading the Association of Graduates, and now he is the head of the village council. And I asked him how he feels in the village council. He said that on the local level he experiences the same problems and resolves the same problems as he used to resolve at the regional or national level. And I asked him why he went there. He said that I went there, I became a local council member in order to feel how the mechanism works in every council at any level. He said if I would have not come to the meeting, there could be a fact of corruption or some corrupt decision could be made. So we are not those ethical, moral leaders who can have the role of some country leaders. It doesn't matter what political force is in power. The thing is that they should adhere to ethical political principles. You are talking about the money to pay to the civil servants. I know that those who used to work at the civil service and were paid those low salaries, they quitted their jobs because it is impossible to survive if you are an impartial person. The condition of the European Commission was that Ukraine should elaborate the strategy of reforms in the civil service, but the Cabinet of Ministers have not provided the strategies. That is why the European Commission did not provide 90 million euros, which were already budgeted, but they were not allocated last year, and it is a pity for us that so we should engage a critical mass of those staff who will push for those changes. I think I would like to add that we need not to divide how to educate top-level officials or local level officials. The framework should be constructed which should be based on the principles of dignity and responsibility and accountability. It should be based on meritocracy, not friendlies, not should be provided with governmental positions. Both teachers, doctors, and governmental civil servants, they have very low salaries. Being a citizen of Ukraine, I would like to thank international institutions and international or NGOs, but they start to lose their patience because the reforms are peddled. We should start making those things, making reforms, including to increase salaries to civil servants. Of course, I have several questions to you, but we have no time. We hope that we will have